Hello and welcome back to the channel. Tony with Barbastella Detailing, and I am back with another Bilt Hamber product. You guys loved my touchless video and asked me to take a look at Autofoam, the predecessor to touchless. So here we are with a review of it. I picked some up. It's a little bit cheaper than touchless, understandably, because I feel like it's got a bit of a shortfall to touchless, but I digress. Let's give it a talking to and see what it's all about. First and foremost, appearances and just user experience. This product is very similar to touchless in how it feels and just is used in general. But appearances are a little different. Touchless is colorless. It looks like water, but with like some sugar or powder mixed in there. It almost looks like clear fluid with no color. And it also doesn't really have a smell to it. Whereas Autofoam looks like this really deep, dark, like a forest green, and it smells like a green apple candy flavor. If blue raspberry, which is like some sort of fake artificial flavoring, was green raspberry, that's what I would describe this as. It smells really good, but it's got a really fruity sort of smell to it, and I enjoy that. But appearance-wise, this is the more like chemically funky of the two, whereas touchless, being sugar-based and advertises itself to be the more biodegradable, eco-friendly product, doesn't flaunt any of the drama that this does. But aside from that, both foam fantastic out of the foam cannon. I feel like touchless foam's a bit more thick versus this. Autofoam is on the runny side, but that's not a bad thing. I don't want people thinking that the internet's like foam crusade of pH neutral chemical guys soaps where all these influencers have the latest MJJC foam cannon with a 0.0001 millimeter orifice to squeeze out the tightest, driest foam, and 3 gallon per minute pressure washers. Also, the foam can look like styrofoam on the panel. This stuff does really well. You can take a very dirty car and foam it on, let it dwell for a minute or two, and then when you go to rinse, it'll clean a majority of the dirt. But I don't think it's got that magic quality that touchless has. I don't think it will look like you wiped the panel with your hand when it comes time to rinse, because with touchless, it did a phenomenal job. It convinced me it was the best at its role of pre-treating. So that when you went in with a pressure washer, it looked like you just, bam, wiped it with your hand. This doesn't give me that, and that's not the worst thing in the world. It still does an amazing job. It's comparable more to the APCs out there, like the Griot's citrus one that I mentioned in my last video. Anything with like D-limonene or a high pH is comparable to this, but touchless had this sort of magic quality to where it justified that higher price of being a dedicated pre-treat. That's why I enjoyed it so much, and this doesn't really do it for me, and that's not a bad thing because this makes sense. It's Bilt Hamber's OG pre-treat. It's their predecessor. So it makes sense for their successor to do better at this job. It makes sense for their product to improve, for them to learn and get better at this. So it's kind of what I expected with Autofoam, but that doesn't mean it didn't do a good job. It really cleaned the panel, did an amazing job at preparing the paint for contact to remove a vast majority of that contamination. So amazing job in performance, amazing job in appearance. I love its smell and everything. It's just as easy to use as a foam cannon. I feel as though if touchless was not a product you wanted going down like storm drains, sure, it was more suited for that. Like, should any go down there, it's a safe-ish product. This you definitely don't want going down there. It's loaded with like surfactants and gnarly stuff. I recommend using this safely and in a well-ventilated area. The smell can get a little overwhelming, but that's with any product. Just, use common sense, be safe, use PPE and all that. Last thing I gotta say about Autofoam, similar to touchless and a lot of Bilt Hamber products, this uses the PIR or panel impact ratio system to signify how much of it you need in your foam cannon or lance or spray bottle or whatever. I won't go too in depth. I went into it in the touchless video, the last video, but I'll still have a link down below as to what it is, how to do it, etc. But basically, the PIR, or panel impact ratio, is a system that Bilt Hamber and a lot of UK brands use to gauge how much product you need per your pressure washer setup. Same system here as with touchless, nothing has really changed. It's a great system in my opinion. For me, it's the same deal, 4% PIR for a strong clean. That's roughly 1-to-1 in the lance for me, which is 500 mils of product to 500 of water. If I have a small car, I might go 300 water and 300 product just to save. But that's still heavy usage. A lot of people in my comments on my last video said I'm using a little bit too much, or that it can be used in the spray bottle more economically. And yes, that's true, but I find it far more convenient to be used in the lance because it just spreads easier. Sitting there with the spray bottle, just pumping all day, just too much work. And I find that I still have to use the same ratio, and on a bigger vehicle, I use about the same amount. So yeah, get ready to spend a little bit more in terms of product. It is not the most economical in my opinion. If you have light duty cleaning or cars that are well maintained, you can use a lot less of this, maybe a 1% or 2% PIR to cut your usage drastically. In that case, it's very economical, but I'm a detailer and I see a lot of cars regularly and these cars are neglected, very dirty. I need a lot more than those guys. So if that's your application of this product / touchless, get ready to spend and use a lot more of it than if you were with any other product. But it's a small price to pay for the just raw cleaning power you get from these. I'm happy to report that it's just as good as touchless, a little less, but whatever. But all in all, it's a little bit cheaper than touchless, still on the expensive side because it's a UK-based product, but it's not all that bad. And it gets an amazing, 9 out of 10 from me. I love this product, and I'm definitely on the Bilt Hamber train. This product and these types of products I'm such a fan of because they make my life easier, especially with the amount of work I see. So I'm glad to see it. I definitely recommend it. If you get a chance to pick touchless up or auto foam, you can't go wrong with either of them. Definitely pick some of them up. They get my recommendations. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, consider leaving a like or subscribing. If you've got experience with autofoam or touchless, let me know in the comments. Did you like it? Did you not like it? Am I using it wrong? Just, go crazy. Not just for my sake, but for other detailers out there that really enjoy learning and socializing on this platform. I want my channel to be a big community where people can learn. That's what I feel is one of the bigger strengths of our industry is we can pass along these gems to and fro freely on the internet. It's amazing. So thanks again for watching. I super appreciate it, and take care. Have a good one. Peace.